All right, here we go. One more time. 5 minutes. This time, Rahshaun Haylock joins us. My good pal, my old partner. Buddy, how are you?
Doing well, just quarantining and chilling these days.
Yep, that's all we can do in the meantime. Hopefully we'll get back at it soon. All right, what's our topic for today?
Topic for today, are mid-majors becoming a feeder system for these Power 5, Power 6 programs in college basketball? That's what's on my mind, Big E. And by the way, you might want to start that 5-minute clock 5 minutes from now because you know how we go.
Yeah, we needed to change the name of this to an hour and a half since it's 2.5. But I think this is going to be a challenge for us, but let's see what we can do. All right, are the mid-majors a feeder for the Power 5 programs? Let's put 5 minutes on the clock. Here we go. All right, you and I have always seen differently about athletes getting paid. This kind of ties into that and kind of doesn't at the same point in time. So I'll let you go first. What's your view?
Funny because we've talked about athletes getting paid. I'm not for this highest bidder, winner takes all type of payment. Mm-hmm. I think it should be standard across the board, but I almost would rather them get paid as opposed to this whole transfer situation because, and talking to one of my pals just the other day about this, it seems like this only benefits the big schools. And as someone who went to a mid-major, you went to a mid-major, I look at CSUN's basketball team and they just got rated, right? Lamine Janae, he's going pro. Elijah Harkless is going to Oklahoma. Terrell Gomez is going to San Diego State. That's almost 60 points that you're losing there if you're Cal State Northridge. How do you bounce back from that?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And I think the big talk right now is around the transfer rule, right? Do they have to sit out a year? Should they sit out a year? That's going to be up in the air. That's a big one. For me, I think when you look at that transfer rule, as long as you align it with what the coaches are allowed to do, one way or the other, I don't care what it is. As long as it's the same, that's fine. I think that would help curtail it a little bit because we know how many times guys commit to a school and then the coach leaves and then they say, oh, well, I don't want to go there anymore. But to your point, playing a year or two at a mid-major and then somebody leaves the major program that was right down the street, in this case you're talking about your Matadors and then San Diego State, right, that you can just kind of slide in under the radar like it's a feeder program. I don't know that it's ever going to change, honestly, no matter what the rule is, because everybody's going to want to go to that bigger program. And us being Big West alumni, becoming the bigger program is much more of the problem. And they're always going to lose guys. I don't know that this will ever be solved. And if so, it's going to be a long time, maybe not until long after we're gone.
It's not going to be solved. And as a matter of fact, if this one-time transfer rule does go into effect, it's probably only going to get worse. Mm-hmm. But I go back and I look at, it's tough because you look at, obviously you want to play against the better competition, right? And so, a lot of these guys may be overlooked by some of the big schools, so they go there, they get to test their mettle. We've seen a lot of instances in which you go to that Power 5 school, and because you're not the number one guy, you're the number maybe 2, 3, or 4 guy, those numbers decrease significantly. I remember Nate Carter, when UCR just became Division I. He was there at UC Riverside, freshman of the year, player of the year candidate in the Big West, goes to Oklahoma when Kelvin Sampson was there, has to take a redshirt year, played on some NCAA tournament teams, but never was a really big contributor when he would have rewrote a lot of the history books in the Big West had he stayed all 4 years. And so you talked about the coaches, which is a good point. They can leave at any time they want to. Why should the players have to stay? A prime example, you look at Joe Burrow. He left Ohio State. He goes and wins a national championship, about to be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft coming up here in this month. So I don't know. Like, if you're looking for a concrete answer for me, I don't have it to give to you. I just think it's great to talk about.
And that's why we have you on, because I know you're going to have a great topic and we're going to sit here and debate it. We're down to about 1 minute and 15 seconds left, but I think those smaller schools, the players that are going there, the best thing for them is to do their research and make sure that when you make your commitment, that's absolutely where you want to be, and make that commitment for your 4 years or however many years you think you're going to be a college athlete. I think you need to try to stick it out as best you can and only transfer if circumstances are extremely extenuating. I don't think you should do it just because you think you may have a better shot. Your point with Oklahoma not having a lot of playing time, I think you got to do your research. You got to talk to everybody and make sure you're making the best decision for you.
But that's the other part that's tough for me, because you say make the best decision for you, right? And you get recruited as a student athlete. Why are you going to this school? It's because of the relationship that you developed with whoever it is on that coaching staff who recruited you, right? And so if I'm talking now in terms of if that coaching staff leaves, if those guys leave, they were the ones that got you there. They were the bridge to get you to whatever that university is right there. So if they're gone, now obviously you can understand why, some of these guys may want to leave. I think it's bad, and like the worst of it is because it's the culture we live in right now, right? It's the AAU culture, it's the me culture, it's the kids only playing one sport culture. And when little Jimmy turns 8 years old, mom's hiring trainers and coaches and all that. We're going to get him to the league, whether it's the MLB, the NFL, the NBA. Like, you put all your eggs in that basket from the time you're 8, 9 years old. And so when you get to that high school and you're not getting that playing time, then you're out of there, right? You get to that college, you're not getting that playing time, you're out of there. And even before there, you get to that AAU program or that travel ball program, and you're not getting the playing time that you think you need, you're out of there. So this is a brand new, this is a culture that has been, is now being created now with the implement of the one sport athlete. And I think that's kind of become sort of the demise of sports, if you will, from a competitive nature.
Well, there you go. I failed. And I knew I would fail because we just went 6 minutes. I gave you a full extra 60 seconds because I knew we were going to need it.
You know me, man. Come on.
I do. Thanks, franchise. We'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate you.